Hello guys, Claudia Boleyn here.
Hooray! It's Claudia Boleyn! Just this morning I was asking myself, is there anything that doesn't sound intelligent in a posh English accent? And like a shining gift from God, Claudia has come to answer that very question.
I've been seeing a lot of conversations and taking part in a lot of arguments online about catcalling, and I'm seeing a lot of men online saying these days that you can't compliment a woman anymore and it's hard because you want to be nice to women but you're scared that they're going to take it wrongly.
Well, it's a completely valid point these men are making. I mean, even I'm wary these days of complimenting women. Feminism has put so much time and effort into equating talking to women on the street with misogyny and harassment that the average man has no idea what is and isn't okay to say to the opposite sex anymore.
And although I completely empathise with that because, you know, no one wants to come across badly when they like someone and they want to interact with them.
Claudia, if you completely empathize with them, there would be no but. The fact that you're going to tell them why they're wrong to feel that way proves that you don't completely empathize with them.
I just want to say that my point of view as a bisexual woman might actually be of some value here. I just wanted to say that I'm very attracted to women.
That's hot.
And I often see women when I'm out that look really beautiful and I want to look at them and I think, oh my gosh, like you look so wonderful. But I think the thing is, there's nothing wrong with looking. It's when you make the person uncomfortable.
Yeah, but the problem is, what makes someone uncomfortable varies from person to person. Yes, there are things that universally make people uncomfortable, like that spider baby from Toy Story. But not every person requires something overtly offensive to be made uncomfortable. Depending on the girl, the phrase, "Hey baby, you look great," could land you with a date or pepper spray to the face. That gives me an idea for a game show. Welcome one and all to another exciting edition of Date or Mace. Tonight our three contestants will be fighting for a chance to go on a date with the beautiful and irreplaceable Chick 47. The rules are simple. I read out a catcall and the contestants have to decide whether that would get you Date or Mace! Okay, contestant number one, this one's for you. Would this catcall get you a date or mace? Let's take a look. Hey, little lady, you got a hot piece of ass. Why don't you come on over here and wiggle that badonka-dunk in my face some? I got a barely used condom with your name on it. Alright, contestant number one, would that get you date or mace? Date? No, mace! Oh, I'm sorry, number one, but we have to take your first answer, and that would land you with a cold, hard pepper spraying. I'm afraid you're out of the running to date Chick 47, but you do get a consolation prize of 6 weeks in jail, you pervert. Alright, contestant number two, you're up. Would this catcall get you Date or Mace? Excuse me. I saw you from across the room, and I thought you were the most effervescent girl I have ever seen. Would you do me the honor of accompanying me to the local dance? Date, I reckon. Oh no, I'm sorry, number two, but that would also get you maced. Ha, tough luck, buddy. Better luck next time, okay? Okay, contestant number three, you're the last one in the running to score a date with Chick 47. All you have to do is tell us if this catcall would get you date or mace. Here it is. The catcall is... Hi. What do you think, date or mace? Surely that's a date. Oh no, I'm so sorry, but that too was a mace. See, what you failed to realize was that whether or not it's harassment is completely at the discretion of the woman you're speaking to. I'm afraid that even speaking to a woman you don't know has been listed as a form of entitlement by some feminists. Okay, but thanks for playing, alright? You take care now. So, nobody won a night of romance with our invaluable Chick 47, but that just means that she's here for the taking for some other lucky guy. Could that be you? Haha! Unlikely. Don't forget to join us again next time on
Date or Race!
Because I often see a woman walking down the street and I think, oh my god, and my eyes are like, you know, in the cartoons, and like the hearts come out of my eye. But I just think to myself, you know, I don't want to make that woman feel uncomfortable. I'm not going to ogle at her. I'm not going to stare at her. I mean, I might like look at her and think, oh wow, she looks really great. But I'm not going to make her feel uncomfortable.
But at what point does a look become a stare, or a stare become an ogle, Claudia? We can't base rules on nebulous concepts. The law has to be rigid in its application so that people know where the line is and not to cross it.
However, it seems that feminism is actively working against that necessity.
The more paranoid they encourage women to be with debunked statistics like 1 in 4, the more women will see a look as a stare, or a stare as an ogle, or even an ogle as proof of intent. The more scared and frightened you make women, and the more uncertain you make the laws, the more innocent people will go to jail.
And also, you know, it goes a step further when sometimes these women are approached and catcalled, that kind of thing. I think we all can acknowledge that if you yell something out of a car or from a building site, if you yell, oh, nice tits, love, or something, that's not very pleasant. I think we all probably know that's not a very decent thing to do.
The problem isn't with the far end of the spectrum. There are things that everybody recognizes as inappropriate. What we're trying to discern is when something crosses the line, not discuss phrases that only the most rampant misogynist would say. We're trying to pinpoint the exact spot where acceptable and unacceptable meet.
But I've heard a lot of men saying things like, you know, I want to compliment a woman, but she took it the wrong way when I complimented her. And I would just say, put yourself in her shoes.
Here's an idea. Why don't you put yourself in our shoes for a change? Why don't you try to imagine what it feels like to have the government and society at large tell you that you have to be taught how to speak to people? Why don't you have them tell you that you need to be trained in consent because you're predatory by nature? Why not have them tell you that you make the very people you love most of all afraid for their own safety? Why don't you have all of that weighing on your shoulders and then muster up the courage to approach the opposite sex anyway, knowing full well if it goes wrong, you could end up with a lifelong criminal record. Or worse.
And first of all, maybe don't approach a woman on her own if she's busy or going somewhere, or, you know, there's a group of you, because it can be quite intimidating sometimes if you're by yourself and that happens.
You know what else is scary, Claudia? Having no witnesses to back you up if you say the wrong thing to the wrong person, and it ends up just being her word against yours. Even if you're acquitted in the court case, you'll still bear the brand of being accused. With feminism demanding that women should not have to protect themselves, it's men who have to pick up the burden of being responsible for their own safety and the safety of women. If she feels unsafe, that's his concern. That's his problem. And so maybe that's why he brought a witness. What's the alternative? Ask women to travel in groups so that they feel secure? Even if I did, they would call it victim blaming.
But yeah, if you're going to go up to someone and compliment them, I don't think there's a problem with a compliment.
A compliment?
A compliment.
Oh, a compliment! Well, why didn't you say so? I wonder how long I can keep this accent up.
But I think you've got to think to yourself, is it a compliment or is it not? Because do you really think that someone wants to have a stranger assessing them on what they look like? Just someone they don't know? I don't think that's a good idea.
People will assess you on what you look like regardless of whether they make a comment or not, my dear. Personally, I would rather be complimented after having put in an effort to look good. Not that it is an effort for me to look good, you understand.
And I can speak for women here as well.
Oh my, Claudia. It seems your bisexuality has given you the ability to speak on behalf of the gents and the ladies. You really must promise me you'll use this enormous power for the good of humanity.
I can say that we're often encouraged to think of ourselves in terms of what we look like and to constantly see ourselves from the outside.
Whereas men are told to embrace their fugliness. Lucky for us, there's no such thing as the male beauty standard.
That's not to say compliments are bad. I've complimented women before that I think are really attractive, but I just think to myself, you know, do they look like, you know, are they in a place where they feel like safe and not intimidated?
So, what you're saying is I should stop complimenting women while hiding under their bed? Hey, you look good. Go back to sleep.
I mean, girls compliment other girls all the time, and I'm often having girls compliment me, and I make an effort to compliment other girls when I see them out. And that's taken really well because there's no sort of threat, there's no sort of, oh god, this person is perving on me. So I just think it's about the way you do it.
No, Claudia, what you just proved is that it's not about the way you do it, it's about the fact that you're a female. Women don't feel intimidated by you because there has never been a government-sponsored initiative to associate women with sexual violence. As far as society is concerned, you can't harm her. And hey, the only victims of that lie are the people who are raped by women and then not taken seriously. So I wouldn't worry too much because they only number in the millions. But you keep telling men that the reason they're treated with fear and suspicion is because they didn't try hard enough to be nice. Chances are, most of them will believe you.
As a bisexual woman, as someone who is attracted to women, I can see it from both sides of the situation, and I personally cannot see the problem.
That's because being a bisexual woman is not actually the same as being a man. I never thought I'd have to say that to someone who lives for identity politics, but they are in fact different. The only way you'll understand is if, and I don't recommend it, you get society to think that they have a 1 in 4 chance of being attacked by a bisexual woman. It would then become very obvious what the problem is.
But for the men that are out there saying, oh, we can't compliment women anymore, yes, you can compliment women, and I compliment women, and they say you can't look at women anymore. Yes, you can. I'm a bisexual woman. I appreciate attractive women.
You're bisexual? Why haven't you mentioned this?
I appreciate women all the time, and I compliment women sometimes, and they don't think I'm a perv. I don't get called a perv because I don't act like a perv.
Well, that's good. I'm proud of you. I don't either, by the way, and thankfully neither do most people. But, as I said earlier, the more uptight you make society, the more you tell them that they have the same chance of being raped as someone in the war-torn Congo, the more they might just see a harmless little bit of flirting as something far more sinister.
Come on, use your common sense. You know if someone's going to feel intimidated or demeaned by what you say.
An appeal to common sense is pretty fair here, I agree. Because the truth is, if we all operated with a little more common sense, we probably wouldn't have to argue over things like this at all. But, Claudia, as soon as you join an ideology that spouts the myth that a certain section of society has to be trained to act like human beings, you draw an awful lot of unnecessary battle lines. It's only natural that these people will want clearly defined measurements of acceptable behavior if they're going to be labeled as excessively predacious. Don't you think if feminists used their common sense more often, they would realize that men don't actually hate women and want them to suffer? The very fact that they make up our family, friends, lovers, and even the people in whose womb we were first nurtured, that this alone would logically inspire us to care for and about them. I think if you practice what you preach, Claudia, you wouldn't even be a feminist at all.
Sorry, this is a slightly different topic, but like the school dress codes where they say that girls who have their bra strap showing or something are stopping boys from learning, that kind of thing. I don't stop learning because I see a bra strap. You know, it doesn't distract me from my learning. It doesn't make me sexualise my peers. You know, even like there were girls I really fancied, I would see a bra strap. I don't think, oh my gosh, I can't concentrate on my work because I saw a piece of fabric over someone's shoulder. I've got to call bullshit on that. Sorry, as someone who's attracted to women, I just don't think that's right. I think it's all excuses. I think it's excuses to let a lot of men get away with objectifying and demeaning women. And it's rubbish.
I'm only going to say this once, and I really hope it sticks. But I don't think it's a bad thing to encourage children to dress modestly. I have no idea how, in your wildest dreams, you came to the conclusion that asking girls to wear clothing that isn't revealing is a form of sexual objectification. Surely, if anything, it's the opposite.
Don't be making women feel uncomfortable in public. It is not nice. Okay, love you. Bye.
Wow, what a wonderfully simplistic way of putting it. If only I could get it to reach more people.
Don't be making women feel uncomfortable in public. It is not nice. Don't be making women feel uncomfortable in public. It is not nice. Don't be making women feel uncomfortable in public. It is not nice. Okay, love you. Bye.
If only.